Welcome back here to the bonus round of questions. Sean Monahan, what do you think of his play so far? And you go back to that pass he made to Kirby Doc in the winner against Pittsburgh on Monday. It was almost Patrick Mahomes-like. No look, and he opened up the pass lane for that game-winning pass to Doc. So, gentlemen, Sean Monahan, what do you think of his play so far?
Well, I think I'm very happy to see him, without playing with an injury. I mean, he's had a tough go, in Calgary before, and he seems to be healthy right now. And we're seeing a healthy Monahan, what he can do. Smart player. He's going to be supposedly a streaky guy that once he starts to get things going, he can make things happen. But, great compliment to that line. Obviously, for him to make a play like he made for Doc for the winner is poised, intelligent, and aware of how to use everybody on the ice. So he's been a great addition, and I think he's going to continue to contribute offensively because he has the tool. So let's watch this guy play. He's going to make things happen.
Yeah, I always knew he was a good player. You look at the stats he put up in Calgary before he had his hip issues and other injury issues. He's a good hockey player, but I didn't, we don't see the guys from out west that often. I didn't realize just how good a hockey player he is. I like to say there's certain guys that just look like hockey players that go on the ice and you go, that guy looks like a hockey player. He's one of those guys, and he does everything well. Like everything he does well, and he does it smooth. He's just a real smooth operator on the ice. And, at the beginning of training camp, he's not a name I would have thought would be the guy playing with Suzuki and Caulfield. But, man, what a perfect fit. He can play the wing. He can play center. And that helps Suzuki because Suzuki struggle a bit on faceoffs. They have opposite hand shots, so they can both be taking faceoffs on their strong side when they're on the ice. They can rotate around, like playing center or wing, going back and forth. There's no sort of fixed position after the puck is dropped. And he's just so smart. And Nick Suzuki thinks the game at such a high level that I need somebody else, I think, who has a really high hockey IQ like him, and Monahan does. And I think those three guys together, as I said, going to the training camp, it's not the name at the top of my list that would be this guy's going to fit with Suzuki and Caulfield. It was either it was Anderson or Slavkovsky if he got into that role. But boy, this guy is a really good fit, and for his sake, he seems like a really good guy. He's gone through a ton of injury problems, hip surgeries the last 2 years. For him and for the Canadians, I hope he can stay healthy. And then at the trade deadline, Kent Hughes is going to have a decision to make. Do you trade him or do you try and sign him and keep him? I think the odds are he will be traded just with his age and the injury history he has. But if he plays well, maybe they get another first-round draft pick to add to their collection if they do move him at the deal. But to me, just a really, it's fun to watch. Like if you're going to the game and you're not watching the game on TV for fans, just watch him when he's on the ice. Like focus on him for a couple of shifts. He does everything right when he's on the ice.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected Sean Monahan to be this good. Even people who watched his prime in Calgary, he's killing penalties more now than he's ever done. He's never taken a regular penalty killing shift in his career. This year he's doing it, and he's doing it well, creating offense on the penalty kill. He's added a dimension to his game. Clearly, he wants to stick around. He was not satisfied with his career being shortened by these injuries, and it's great. And I do think that he fits better with Caulfield and Suzuki than a guy like Josh Anderson, where he brings some physicality and creates some situations for them. But I don't think he has the hockey intelligence to stick with them because his passing game is just not very good. He doesn't anticipate very well. He's more of a guy who scores solo off the rush. Whereas Monahan loves those long offensive zone possessions that create space. He's not the type of guy who's necessarily going to forecheck chances out for them, but they're so good at it that they maybe don't need a really physical guy who bumps and grinds and creates pressure down low. They can do that themselves. So I think it's a great fit. I'm excited to see how it continues over the next few games here.
And I didn't realize that he was so strong in the faceoff circle. Mm-hmm. Critical times in the game, you got to go with a guy that you're really confident that he's going to get the job done on winning that faceoff. And up so far up to today, he's been one of the top guys on the team. So nothing but a bonus, and nice to have that on your side when it comes down to clutch situations when you need a go-to guy that is going to probably win his share of faceoffs.
And how times have changed for the Canadians when center position was the big dark hole, and what a pickup by Kent Hughes to get Monahan for basically nothing,
and be paid a first-round pick for it.
And now they're so deep at center that they can afford to play Monahan in the wing. You got Kirby Dach also. It's the moves that Kent Hughes has done to fix what was a huge problem for this team for so long. Impressive work.
Well, I'll say this quickly here, guys, before we wrap up this whole process. Does the Habs maybe go with a load management with Sean Monahan to keep his value at a higher clip if they do trade him at the deadline in February?
I think it's a good idea. If he starts showing signs of breaking down a little bit, it doesn't make sense to force him to play too much. They're not playing for anything this year outside of development and continuing to make progress towards being a competitive team. So you don't need to redline anybody, right? This isn't the Michel Therrien Habs where you're having to play Carey Price 70 games a year just to make the playoffs. This isn't a situation like that for anybody. So unless somebody's got a bonus that they need to hit a certain goal total or something, you don't need to play anybody every single game of the year.
Yeah, Monahan said it's been more than 3 years since he played a game without pain. He's had a rough road, and he's healthy now. He's feeling good. He said his body feels good. He said his confidence is coming back the more games he plays, and just it's new for him. It's a new feeling for him to play without pain. He's been for so long in Calgary. The end of his career, his hip was hurting, or the other hip was hurting. Something was always hurting. Now nothing's hurting.
And to fast forward the situation, he's making $6 million. If a new contract, what's it going to take to sign him if that plays out that way? Again, numbers, financial numbers always come into the picture, and as far as who's going to stay or who's going to go. So the good news out of all this, they have the luxury of having a lot of good players and a lot of the positions filled, and let's. It's still early. Let's see things play out as we get into the grind of the regular season.
And the other possibility is if Monahan really likes Montreal and enjoys playing here, you could trade him at the trade deadline and re-sign him in the summer as a free agent also.
Yep. And Kent Hughes has been great at keeping those relationships, right? Every player that he's moved on from has spoken about how great the relationship is at the end of it. Look about Ben Sherratt last year. Talk about somebody asked him if he would sign back with the Canadians, and he didn't even hesitate. Of course he would.
Well, Jeff Petrie too.
Yeah, we'll find out with Sean Monahan. He's off to a good start with the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see if he'll still be a Hab or maybe re-sign next summer. Who knows what the future holds for Sean Monahan. But for now, that number one line has been playing great with him on that top end. Well, that'll do for the bonus round here. Don't forget to like and subscribe our Hockey Inside Out on YouTube. Also, subscribe to the newsletter on MontrealGazette.com/newsletter. And for full episodes and the bonus episodes, check it out on YouTube, Hockey Inside Out. And submit your comments and questions. We'll get to that for future episodes moving forward. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.